3, 2, 1, sí. Hola mi amigos, bienvenidos. Today we are going to learn about the possibilities of villains and maybe even a Spider-Man 3 game that will come soon or not, don't know. I hope you do enjoy. Let's get into the video.
Insomniac's creative director Brian Intihar has officially confirmed the development of a third Spider-Man game. He didn't reveal any new information, but promised that, according to the studio's plans, third part is set to be a kind of endgame for the gaming franchise. This seems logical, especially considering that in the post-credits scene of the sequel, we see Norman Osborn visiting Otto Octavius,
Yeah,
who is
dude, I
locked
did
in
see that.
solitary confinement at the Raft
I
prison.
wanted to
When
play the
Osborn
game, but I
asks
physically
Octavius what
can't
he's
do it.
writing, Octavius responds that he's preparing the final chapter. However, the specifics of this plan remain unknown. If we connect this scene with Brian Intihar's words about Spider-Man 3, it's possible to speculate that this final chapter might involve a cunning plan to kill Peter Parker, a script that could easily come to fruition in the third game.
We're killing off Peter?
It was a perfect conclusion to the
Don't get me
entire
wrong,
trilogy. Just
the
think
whole
about it.
Venom
By the
thing was
time the
cool
third
and
Spider-Man,
all,
we will have known
but I
Peter
feel
for
like
over 8
he
years. However, this assumes
died
the
off
game will
really
be
quick.
dropped given that Insomniac has already
Announced
announced the
Wolverine.
Producers have confirmed that the entire Spider-Man team has shifted their focus to working on the Wolverine game. Due to
I
the
would
studio's
assume
busy
so.
schedule, it's not realistic to expect the third Spidey before 2026. We eagerly
Before
await more updates. Let's
after
continue discussing
2026.
the villains. The final chapter.
Okay, obviously
The death of
Octavius
Peter
will come
Parker
back.
would be a logical conclusion to the trilogy. Much like Tony Stark's death marked the end of an entire phase in MCU. Thus, I believe that Octavius' plan will succeed. After all, Otto has always stood out from other villains because of his superior intellect. He will play a significant role in the third game, that's for sure, as Insomniac directly teased.
What about
his
Green
involvement
Goblin?
in
He's
the
also supposed to be really
post-credits scene.
smart
In
and
the same
evil.
scene, Norman
That
questions
guy.
him. No escaping tragic scenes and deaths, and what better reason for such a climax than the
Also,
fall
there's
of the
big spoilers if no one's seen the gameplay of Spider-Man 2 or played Spider-Man 2. It's gonna be massive spoilers if you haven't seen or played it yet. I do apologize.
Situation to its original state. It's worth noting that the relationships between Otto Octavius and Norman Osborn could have developed differently in the comics. It's important to mention that in the Marvel Universe, characters and their relationships can change depending on the plots and storylines.
Very
However,
true.
in many canonical versions, Octavius and Osborn have always been antagonists to each other, as was also portrayed in the first game. These two characters were known for their own villainous personalities and often clashed with each other in their attempts to achieve their ambitious goals. In the first part, Otto accused Norman of cutting off his funding. Octavius, on the other hand, was a brilliant scientist and engineer who genuinely believed he was changing the world for the better by creating next-generation prosthetics. Otto began to experience
Then lost
personal and
his
professional
goddamn
setbacks.
mind.
Osborn didn't visit him without a purpose. Firstly, he wants to learn the secret identity of Spider-Man, but Otto is not foolish enough to reveal all
Yeah,
the secrets.
Norman went to Otto to learn the identity of Spider-Man, Peter, because he thought that Peter killed Harry, but Harry's alive. He's just really hurt. Peter did kill him, but Miles revived him with his electricity, and they saved him. He was in critical condition, but he is gonna be alive. Also, Chameleon, yeah, so at the end credits too,
While the
Chameleon's
futures
gonna
of
come
Doc
back.
Ock and the Green Goblin seemed clear, the fate of Chameleon remains uncertain. He made a cameo appearance in the second game, hiding and observing Spider-Man on a rooftop. In one of the side quests titled Unidentified Targets, you track down
I think,
Kraven's drones to
yeah,
find
Kraven's
a
things.
specific individual. Along the way,
Because
they discover that the
apparently
data on this
Chameleon
individual
and
vary
Kraven are
significantly,
brothers.
ranging men realize that Kraven was actually searching for his half-brother, the Chameleon, a longtime adversary of the original Spidey who had escaped from prison after being captured years ago. Meanwhile, Chameleon makes several failed attempts on his brother's life and closely monitors the Spider-Man's progress, determined to accomplish what Kraven could not.
Even I know you're the Chameleon, but even your face looks so fake. Compared to everyone else in the game, you look so fake.
A white glitch appears on his face, suggesting that he is concealing his true identity. Second, he refers to Kraven as his brother. However, I believe that his storyline might serve as the foundation for a potential story DLC because I can't see how he fits into the main plot of the sequel. Nevertheless, Chameleon is sure to make an appearance in the future one way
They did
or
reference,
another.
Peter did reference it in the... Yeah, that's what I wondered. Carnage!
As part of Spider-Man
Because
2's many
the
side quests,
flame
Peter helping
took a red symbiote and he mentioned Carnage.
Worship fire. They refer to themselves as the Flame. This quest is optional, but you can choose to complete it and catch a glimpse of the storyline for the third game. During this mission, you encounter a character
mentioned
known as
Carnage
the
and all.
Flame, whose real name is Cletus Cassidy.
So he is Cletus Cassidy. They named a few names after this quest. I thought maybe it would be Cletus Cassidy that can be Carnage, but I didn't hear them say that he is Cletus Cassidy. It's becoming lore accurate slowly and slowly.
But which he will likely use to become
Carnage.
The moment he acquires the substance, it even changes color to red. This is a clear foreshadowing of the appearance of the next
I still don't
supervillain in the series.
like. I love it how Peter
Insomniac
got the
brilliantly
anti-venom
portrayed
suit,
Venom.
right?
Finally, we got a truly
But I don't
villainous
understand
Venom as
why
opposed to the
when he got the
friendly
anti-venom
anti-hero
suit he
from Tom
didn't go
Hardy's
as big as
portrayal.
Venom,
Now,
because
imagine
in the comics anti-venom is as big as Venom. All the symbiotes, like when they turn into the symbiote suits, like Venom, anti-venoms, Carnage, all that, they all are giant muscular suit people things. So why is anti-venom so like Peter, like a small human? Why was that? I felt like it should have been an actual symbiote suit like Venom, but still it was a great way how he just all of a sudden was comatose and then woke up and then he's anti-venom. I'm sorry, I'm rambling while this is going on.
Insomniac is the only
Trying
one
out a
who
new
can
style.
depict Cletus as he should be, maniacally cruel, cold-blooded, and terrifying. Many believe that the Carnage and Yuri Watanabe storylines should continue as DLC, but I disagree. Guys, Carnage is such an iconic villain that he deserves proper attention.
He deserves to be the main third villain of the third game. He deserves it. No.
Many are concerned that there won't be enough villains left for the third game, as the first two games
Why is
introduced
Null
almost
there?
all the iconic ones. However, the Marvel Universe has plenty of fantastic antagonists, and Null is a prime candidate for an appearance. He is a massively scaled villain on par with Thanos, and he could easily steal the spotlight from the Green Goblin. Anticipating a teaser in a post-credit scene or a cameo from him is definitely worth it. Furthermore, the death of Venom and subsequently Carnage could greatly infuriate Knull, who seeks the revival of all symbiotes on Earth. We've seen
I
his
just call him
spiral
Null.
arcs in the second game, and I believe Venom has already sent some kind of signal to Knull, who should be preparing for an invasion this time. He fits perfectly into the
The whole Venom wings thing, that caught me so off guard. Morbius.
Dr. Michael Morbius did not make an appearance in Spider-Man 2, even
Not
though
at all.
the first game included many Easter eggs and hints related to characters from the comics. One of the most significant hints was the inclusion of a character who uses the alias Dr. Michael Morbius in the story. Among the numerous heroes and villains who may join Marvel's Spider-Man
I loved his
3,
movie.
Morbius could feature as either another antagonist or an anti-hero compelled to seek redemption
Surely
following the events of the
anti-hero.
first game. In the
Surely
comics, Morbius
anti-hero.
sometimes uses the cover identity of Dr. Morgan Michaels, and a character with the same name appears in the first game. This version of Morgan is a scientist who worked on the Devil's Breath drug for Oscorp. Driven by a desire for redemption, he collaborates with Spider-Man to find an anti-serum for the dangerous chemical that ultimately gets sprayed all over New York. Morbius could have a complex role in the third game's storyline, and it'll be intriguing to see how his character evolves in this installment. It's likely that Michaels will become Morbius. In the canon, he suffers from a rare blood disease and is trying to find a way to cure himself. During his research, he a vampire gaining supernatural abilities including speed, echolocation, and endurance. However, he also develops vampire attributes such as a hunger for blood. Morbius is a complex character, and his moral dilemmas and quest for redemption are central to his storylines. He often struggles to control his vampire instincts and uses his abilities to combat villains and crime. He sometimes collaborates with other superheroes, including Spider-Man. His appearance in the third game could be a significant plot line, and perhaps he might help Harry wake up from his condition.
Surely. Yeah, he did mention the G serum when it looked like Harry was dying.
The third game will be Norman Osborn in the form of Green Goblin.
Because surely.
He asked Spider-Man to save Harry, but became greatly embittered due to the uncertain ending. In the hospital,
Because he was not sure that Harry was going to wake up. He is saved, but he just went back to sleeping. He'll need his rest. Like he wore green all game. And then mentions G serum right there. Can this Spider-Man come out to play?
Norman has been present in every installment as a sort of shadowy villain who is yet to be fully revealed. The key moment in the scene is the mention of the G serum. As you may have gathered, that formula not only grants the subject the power to cure all diseases, but also immense strength. But it comes with side effects like mental clouding and insanity. It's logical that Osborn is preparing the serum to save Harry, but the narrative seems to
This is really unrelated to the video, but I smell pizza. Or that's just really, really strong garlic.
It's possible that they will introduce a plot element where the G serum is extremely dangerous, requiring further experimentation and research, and Norman won't have the luxury of time. Later, it could be revealed that the test subject must have the same blood, and possibly Norman, as a father, decides to test on himself, thus becoming the Green Goblin. This approach could add depth to the storyline, as it would involve Norman directly in the transformation into the Goblin. Fans have eagerly awaited his appearance since the first game, and the developers have saved him for the epic finale of the trilogy. While some may have
So I was so
expected to see the
confused why
Goblin's
Harry
design at
was
the end of the second
anti-venom,
game,
because
it
Eddie
appears that
Brock
the
is
creators
not
are
anti-venom.
reserving the big
I don't know why
reveal for
Harry
the
was
third
Venom,
installment.
because
Norman's bitterness towards Peter adds a layer of
Harry is
complexity
Green
to their
Goblin
conflict, and as seen
Jr.
in No Way Home, when Willem Dafoe's Goblin, even from another reality, represents pure evil for Spider-Man, it emphasizes the
But
deeply
Harry
personal
was
nature of their
Venom, but
rivalry.
Harry's
Norman
supposed to be Green
Osborn's
Goblin
personal connection
Jr.
to Peter
and Eddie
Parker makes
Brock
their
is supposed to be
conflict all the
Venom.
more tragic, and it's likely that the
But
third game will be
yeah,
filled with dramatic scenes and plot
I don't know where
twists.
Eddie
Nonetheless,
was
the
that
Green
whole
Goblin
time.
is undoubtedly one of the most iconic villains in Spider-Man's mythology, often considered an arch nemesis. He is one of those villains that authors typically reserve for something significant. He's not just a villain of the week like Electro, for instance. If the Goblin makes an entrance, it promises something large scale. He doesn't rely solely on brute force. Norman always seeks to break Peter as a person, and has been responsible for numerous horrifying events in his life. The strategic intelligence, big influence, and eventual maniacal madness make the Goblin an incredibly compelling villain who is sure to appear in Spider-Man 3.
Wow. There's gonna be a good handful of villains in the third installment. There has to be a third installment thanks to how it ended. I don't know how that's going to happen. And with him saying that this could possibly be the end of Peter, Peter might die. Peter probably will die. I don't know how to feel about that. That means a lot of good, well-known superheroes are starting to come to their end. But then there's also the newer superheroes that are making appearances and people are going crazy over them. Like apparently there's the Marvels. That movie's out now. I can't see it yet. So that's fun. Yeah. There's a new era coming. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a big old like and subscribe while you're at it to help me get to 200 subscribers by the end of the year. And I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that'll be. Adios.